sir? That's correct. If we are,
Action 3A, yes.
I would make a motion that we table this item in consideration that we've got, it's a very important topic to discuss board operating procedures. And in light that we've not got a full board presence, that we table that until it's a date that we can come together as a full board to discuss how we will be operating together as a team.
I second that.
It has been moved by Ms. Fitch and second by Coach Fosh that item 3A be tabled. Is there any discussion?
Could we, when we do that, do it in conjunction? That would be a good team of 8 presentation, going through procedures to where you can get some board credit for it.
That's what we're doing, yeah. And we've got to do
Is
the,
that what for tonight was team of 8?
yes. But the quarterly tracker we have to do before the end of this month, so we could either do it Monday or Tuesday of next week.
That would be, if you're referring to item C.
Yes.
All
Okay,
right.
let's,
Yeah, can we,
let's do that.
can I call a vote for item A first?
Make
and
sure
then
that
we can?
board members
Yeah.
know what's in front of them so that you can contemplate your action.
Are we talking about
Following, yes.
the operating
Yes.
procedures?
Operating
You see the
procedures.
red? You see the red? Okay, so this is the red line version of your board operating procedures that were in your board packet. And when I say red line, you can see the red text coming out. It's not in track changes mode because track changes made everything red and it just, was a lot more difficult to read. And so again, you see a lot of red, do you not? This is simply getting the text and the sections that are there to read consistent with the local policy that you currently have. In front of each section, I've bolded what policy is applicable. So as you review this, use this version to mark it up and tweak and, because this is the accurate version as far as what your policy is.
Right.
So if you're wanting to make edits to this, then we will be able to ascertain more readily what policy edits we will have to make in conjunction with the board operating procedures. We'll simply have to bring back policy and make those revisions. So
It'd be nice to have a little bit of time. to
Yeah.
do
yes,
this.
yes. And the only additional items that were added were just things like, that I have seen in other board operating procedures, such as references to committees, and then just more clarification of some of these subjects. I think you'll be able to tell as I tweaked the headings and so
I
forth.
don't think A is like 52.
So the content is not necessarily anything that's being quote-unquote recommended to the board. It's simply a reflection of what you have in your local policy and trying to get this to read consistent with your local policy. And then adding in some sections for thought that, you might feel deemed valuable. These are your procedures, and so definitely give some consideration to additional sections that you feel like you want, circumstances that have occurred in the past that you've questioned, or things that you think will help you to interact and work more efficiently.
So the majority of your red line changes are more procedural consistency
Yes,
than,
absolutely,
than substantive type changes.
correct.
Okay.
Are there further discussion? If there's no discussion, those in favor of tabling agenda item 3A until a complete board is present, be shown by the elevation of your right hand. And it carries. Thank you so much. We now move to agenda action item 3B.
Mr. President, I would make a motion that we table this item until we have a full board together to discuss our board operating procedures, because I know that these two are intricately tied. I feel just as strongly that they should continue to go together as well.
purpose of having the whole board available, I'd make a second.
It's been moved by Ms. Fitch, second by Coach Fosh, that we will table agenda item 3B. Is there any discussion?
Wasn't the last time the point was made that we have to revisit the operating procedures before we can properly do that?
Because they fold into
They
them,
fold,
yeah.
Okay.
They're gonna answer a lot of those questions for us.
All right, all in favor will show with the elevation of the hand. Motion is carried. Thank you, board. Now we come to our agenda item, which is an action item 3C. Consideration of board action on submission of Lone Star Governance Quarterly Board Progress Tracker and self-evaluation to the Texas Education Association.
I'm gonna defer to Ms. Dowdy here. I know she had some concerns about doing this.
What we had originally thought was that we would work through the board operating procedures and constraints tonight that would give us points in that. We don't have to do that in that order, but we do need to complete the tracker either tonight or Monday or Tuesday, so we can submit that to TEA in a timely manner in the month of October. And then we'll do it again, and then we'll add those points after we complete the constraints and board operating procedures at the next time.
My concern, Ms. Dowdy, is that I don't know that board operating procedures and constraints is a one-meeting shop.
Right.
I don't know that we can do those in one meeting and
Right.
then be ready to do the self-tracker. Now, I could be wrong, and that's just me speaking.
Right.
So.
Until you've
from
seen
my-
it, yeah.
Yeah, from my standpoint, I'm extremely comfortable moving forward, but I also defer to what you would like to do here in regard to the self-evaluation.
I would like for us to take, while we're together, some time tonight to go through, and because that's why we had put it tonight, so we have time to actually, outside of a regular board session where we are kind of confined to, or we're limited to time because we've got so many other items, go through and talk about these, and we can discuss whether we feel like we've accomplished some of these things or not, and have time to talk about it, and then update it and send what we have in for now. Would that be okay with the board?
I'm
Okay,
comfortable.
all right. All right, what did I do with my manual? Did I take it back there with me? I think I did. Let me go get my manual. I think I've left it back there.
Knock something off, yeah.
First pitch is at what time?
It's your game tonight.
Everybody should have,
I have the point system, they have the point system in work.
okay.
Has it been changed since our last meeting?
No,
here?
we checked. We called the agency and said, that's one of the things we're doing now because we don't get this email that says, and I did suggest that to the state that it might be helpful if they tell us when an update happens so we can know that, but we check every time now and say, has there been a change? And there was not a change from the last time. So you've got your tracker in front of you, right? Okay. And so if we go to, in the manual, or you've got your tracker out in front of you. If you go to,
21.
yeah, the very front page, very first page.
I got 50 in mine.
Our tracker's on page 50.
And it, in my book,
Yeah.
Okay. And so you've got to look at start back at the framework, where you're gonna look at the framework for this page, the very first page of the Texas Framework Vision, which is on page 40, I believe, in your book. Okay. So, we know we've moved, and I just want to take time to go over each one of these. We know we've moved into point 1, and we had talked about we have already adopted a vision. Do y'all remember that?
yes.
Okay. The board has board adopted goals. We did that. They're on the wall. The board owned the vision development process while working collaboratively with the superintendent. The board-owned goals developed process while working collaboratively with the superintendent. Those were all those workshops that we had at the very beginning. I mean, if you can remember last year, when we worked together. The board has adopted no fewer than 1 and no more than 5 goals, which we did, and 3 is the recommended, and we have 4, I believe. Okay? Do y'all all agree with that?
Yes.
So then let's go to point 4. And each goal describes a baseline, current state, a target, a population, and all of this. In other words, it's a SMART goal. And we
I think
work
we
with.
have 12 this time.
He's jumping ahead.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
okay. I'm doing teacher mode.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, we do have a SMART goal for 4 SMART goals, and the deadline for each goal is to reach, no more than 3 to 5 years away. We did that. Even though the accountability system is changing, we may have to come back and look at that. And the board has adopted an annual target for each goal in addition to its deadline target. These are the GPMs, and that's what we're measuring every month. So we have those. The goals are all student outcome goals. The board members and agree that the student outcomes are all SMART, and we did that with AJ. And here, the board relied on root cause analysis, comprehensive student needs assessment, and all that. I feel like we did that, and I'm just gonna tell you why, because if you remember back at the very beginning when AJ was here, we had to talk about why we thought we got to where we are. Now, why is Nacogdoches ISD where we are in the situation? Those are all root cause analysis to say, so what are our main items that we've got to correct? You can't go to goal setting until you've done a root cause analysis. So that's what got us to decide those goals that we had. We said that there's a reading issue, special ed issue, all these other things, so,
Wasn't there a lot of statistics that were?
yes.
The
Were
administration
presented.
had gathered a lot of statistics on specific
Right.
groups of students, and we
Right.
went through all those in
Right.
detail.
You also have in all the plans that you
Right.
presented to the board,
Right,
every one of those plans from inline carpenter, for done, all have root causes.
right. You can't write them without a root cause. So, anybody disagree on that with the root cause analysis? Go ahead.
I'm a little iffy on the root cause analysis, but
Okay.
that's just,
I just know if you're gonna come up with a goal, if we came up with goals, we shouldn't have finished the goals if we did not look at the root cause analysis creates your goals. We had to look back at data. You have to say, and we all agreed with AJ or came up with the reasons why we are in the shape we're in right now.
I think what gets me on that, and I'll get to it a little bit more on this other one, is it says the board relied on a root cause analysis. I think the board relied on our staff to perform a root cause
I got
analysis.
you.
In other words, it's the same as, remember when we were going through that process, I'm like, I'm not the educator. I don't, this is not my lane. That's why we've got this wonderful, talented staff here and bring you in. And you are helping guide us on the educational side of that. So I think that's where that's why I say I'm kind of gray
Yep.
area
I
on
got
it.
you.
It does say the board relied on a
Yeah.
root cause.
Not ours, but
ours.
The
It
board
says-
relied on A. Okay, that's true.
I don't think they were contemplating that we were gonna come up with it ourselves. We
Yeah.
probably want the experts.
We looked at all the years prior, with the leadership, the, change and everything. All those are the reasons why we are in the situation we are now, okay? And that's how we came up with the goals, okay? So then we go to 12. The goals are all student outcome goals. You agree on that? The board members and the superintendent agree that the student outcome goals are SMART. They're specific, measurable, attainable. And the board relied on a root cause analysis, comprehensive student needs assessment, and similar research-based tool to inform identification and prioritization of potential student outcome goals, because that's what we wrote from. So, do we agree that, I think we've accomplished through that point,
Agreed.
okay? So we get to 15, and this is where I think we have work. So, we're not there, because,
Not memorized.
no, we haven't memorized. Could we all recite that at this time if we could? We haven't memorized them. And the other thing is that now we have to back up and say, students, families, teachers, community members were involved in vision, student outcome, goals, development. Now, you look at the fact that, okay, was it in public? Did we hold those sessions in public? They're
Special board meetings.
special board meetings. So it's open to public, it's open to community, or anyone else who wants to come. That's what that's meaning. You've posted the agenda, you have opened up, and I know that when AJ was standing here, if you remember, that AJ opened it up, and we had a lot more people involved, I mean, there were more people here. And so he opened it up and brought in and said, do y'all have any input to any of this, or how do you feel, or whatever he said. So those were some of the input that he asked for from the community and so forth. But outside of posting those agendas, I'm not for sure how, what else we can do, other than, I know that I talk about these items when I go out to the campuses constantly now. That's as teachers. I have brought it to the teachers and the principals in meetings because we constantly refer back to these student outcomes and what they're having to produce every week so that we can report to y'all. We just did this in staffing today, staffing meetings. We said, you've got to go back, talk to the staff, and talk about the importance that these monitoring devices we have for every month, how important those are, because we're making decisions based on that. It's not just the end of the year results, it's those monitoring throughout the year with board. So we're constantly talking about that to teachers and staff. And the agendas were posted for input, and through that first initial part, AJ brought in and asked it for open involvement. So,
So are we saying a 12 on that one? Or 12 and change? Can we do that?
we can do that. All board members have, because I don't think we can recite that tonight. I don't, is that the test that we're gonna have to recite it?
Well, I don't think it means you memorize it verbatim. I think it means that, you know, that you understand that you have a general, like.
Understanding of it?
Yeah,
Well,
like
I
goal
know-
1, 2, 3.
Well, I know, like, for example, first one is dealing with your high-end kids and making sure that the high-end kids are
Yes.
accomplishing the goals that they have. Second goal is dealing with your reading and math scores and bringing those up.
And your population groups with
And the
that,
and
yeah.
the population group, so, can I
The
tell
third-
you on verbatim exactly the way it states, but do I know
Yeah.
what the goal is?
Yeah, that's what I think it means. Because like the third one we know is dealing with our campuses, the fourth one is with graduation
Graduation.
rates. So I think it's like that general, not
Do
specific.
you feel like you're all knowledgeable of those goals?
I don't know, I've been in meetings with AJ where he wanted you to like, work the, not necessarily the verbatim, but at least the data. He'd ask you to go, what was this year versus what was that last year? And I was at a board training with him where he did that to everybody in the room, and maybe one person was able to do it.
So that means we're at 12.
Yeah,
Well, I know our goal was for the first one, our goal was that it was to be at 13%, we were at 11%, so.
Well, either way, regardless of your individual opinions as to your individual memory, verbatim or not, we have a couple of board members missing that we
True.
don't have any input
True.
from on
True.
that particular inquiry, so.
So can we say 12?
So we
Say 12 plus 1.
12 plus 1?
13?
I go 12.
12 is good.
Let's go to Vision 2. We move into 1 point. The board has broad adopted GPMs for each student outcome. Those are the ones we listed together and adopted underneath each goal performance measure.
For the sake of time, can we go like we did last time and
Yes,
just
ma'am.
everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
cite
I'm
a
gonna
number?
get out of teacher mode.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I think last time we just said, what did you think your score is, and we kind of went around. and-
absolutely,
and kinda
12.
hit it.
because
Make it a 12?
I'm thinking we made a 12 on Vision 2.
We need somebody on the board. All right.
Vision 2, did we just change this one?
Yeah, we have
Hang on.
We
the,
just changed it?
I'm sorry. It's fine.
that's okay. I just loved.
This, yeah. Thank goodness.
2.
Thank you, Kelly.
We'll be here
I
for
would,
hours
I
in
would
your
say a
teacher mode.
15 on number 2, and I think Reverend said a 12.
Sound good to me.
wait, we have to see what everybody
Are
thinks.
these collectively all together added up, or is it just on the one
One.
category?
One
Each-
check.
Right.
Each category
Keep going
get
till
that
you
point.
stop.
So-
Right.
So you're saying that you could get a total of 32?
No,
No,
15.
no, 15.
Okay,
Alright.
so it's not cumulative.
Yeah.
Refresh my memory, because I think my memory was correct. When we did these goals, it was in a workshop setting.
Oh, several workshops.
And if I remember correctly, there were people out in the audience
Yes.
who also participated.
That's when he
It
opened
was
it up.
not just us.
Right.
They had access to talk.
AJ opened it up and asked.
That is correct. And they were talking to AJ.
Yes.
12, 15.
Wait, well, let's see, Russell, what do you think on that one?
I'm 15. I mean,
I agree.
I could, anybody can pick apart and do the argument as to what does broad community acceptance mean. But when you publish the meetings and give notice and people come that wanna come and are open to input, I don't know how much more broader you can get that within reason.
Mr. Green, what do you think, 15?
I'm good with 15.
Mr. Nermal?
15.
15, we're at 15, Kelly.
Vision 3.
Division 3, I'm at,
We aren't 10.
we're not 10,
No.
I'm kind of at 1, preparing to focus, is where I'm at. Reverend, where are you?
I wanna say 9.
We haven't adopted
No,
constraints.
not, I'm sorry, that's right.
No, these are board constraints.
Board
Yeah,
constraints.
Board constraints, that's what we're kinda working on right now.
We have the constraints, but we don't have the GP,
The GPMs, and we haven't voted on them,
Mm-mm.
correct?
we voted on
We
the
voted on-
constraints, but we did,
We may change them.
and we may.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying we haven't done everything to reach the 3?
Correct.
I have marked mine 1.
1, I agree with that. Mr. Green? Everybody give them 1? All right, we're at 1. Vision 4 is the constraint progress measures that the board does, and we're not there, we're at 0 there, cause we're working on that right now. Accountability 1,
We do have the monitoring calendar.
yep.
The thing I want to bring up that I noticed here, though, that I'm not sure how to do, if you look under 4, it says the board's monitoring calendar spans no fewer than 18 months. The recommended span is 24, 36. We don't, our assessment is based off of when we get the test scores, we look at that and analyze it each summer and recreate our assessment timeline based on our strengths and weaknesses there and everything and how we're gonna do it. I don't know how to go 24 to 36
Don't
months
you
unless
think,
we.
don't you think though, up here when we went to 21, let's see, 18, 19, 20, that was the long span up there? Or you're talking about
The
the
actual
The monitoring calendar.
I'm gonna
Because-
look at Sammy for a minute on that, cause I know
Uh-huh.
she spent a lot of time developing that. Do you think you can develop that out to 18 months?
Yeah, data goes all year long.
Just recycle it?
Well, we could, yeah,
Okay,
we can add to that,
okay.
yeah.
Because I just picked that out and noticed that and I thought okay.
You know, the thing
So
is,
what
they
you
wanted
thinking,
us to,
4?
they wanted us to pick a different GPM, like 1 or 2 every
Right.
month, but sometimes you just have to put them, sometimes they're just gonna be more than 1 in there.
Yeah.
So we can expand the calendar.
What if we went 3 on that one, just because we don't quite have that 18-month calendar spanned
Is
out?
that an option?
She said it was.
Oh, yeah.
Miss Dowdy
Yeah,
said
we
we could do
We
that.
can do that.
Yeah.
We can do that. We're gonna put it in there.
It'll be easy.
I think if we have reason for it, we
They
can.
would just have to get a 1. Either 1
You know,
or.
we're getting close.
We're
Or
getting
4.
close.
If you look at
We've got everything on 4
Right.
except that 18-month
Right.
calendar. We've got a
Right.
12-month calendar.
Mm-hmm.
but
But
if you even look at 12 points, we don't have 12, because we don't have.
No.
But I'm gonna tell you, as far as if you took our last couple of board meetings, well over 25% is what we spent on those progress measures.
we could easily be at 12 in the next.
If we do
next
that.
quarter.
And I think we're at 4 now,
Because we haven't finished,
I
even
think we
without,
could be at 12.
because we do have a progress.
Because really, all I see that we're gonna need to have is, the last statement talks about every constraint is monitored at least once per year. We don't have constraints, so we haven't been able.
We're not there
We're
yet.
not
Right.
monitoring what we don't have.
and we gotta create that calendar to go out
But,
18 months.
We're pretty close to 12.
236.
Okay, okay.
Four.
Russell, what are you comfortable with?
It's the same as we talked about last time we did this. If you wanna read it technically, and we're 6 months short on no fewer than 18, then we don't quite reach the whole 4. But I'd certainly go for a 3.
I don't think we can do that.
We did it earlier on the 13th.
No, it's 12.
We've set some precedent.
Because we did some of this.
Mr. Dearmont, how do you feel?
3.
3? There, okay, that's majority 3.
Okay.
If they kick us out, they kick us out.
That's how we label it.
I mean, we're doing it.
Let's see, accountability 2.
Okay, that one, yeah, 'cause we haven't been.
Mm.
When it says board self-evaluation, that's what we're doing right now, right?
Mhm.
Look at that one.
When they say all board members have completed a training that covered the state's accountability system, can you tell me what that is?
Where is that, Pam?
That
It's
is,
a new requirement.
that's number
that's,
1,
Right.
about 3rd paragraph.
In the section that deals with your certification of your
Continuing
continuing
education.
education.
Oh, okay, that's what it is, yeah.
It's in the red line version of your board operating
Mhm.
procedures,
Uh-huh.
that,
So it's
at
something
the end of the,
new.
yeah, at
Mhm.
the end of the year, you were, the old rule was you would announce your hours at the end of the calendar year.
Right.
Now it's before the election, and you also added this section that tells board members that this certain percentage of your continuing ed has to be based on
The accountability system. Have we
And
done
so-
any of that?
Well,
I mean, I feel like I've got an understanding, but I don't know if they're talking about a specific
They're not talking
Well,
accountability
we-
training.
specific
No, we
training,
did the
they're just-
accountability system when we did the state of the district.
yeah, we did that last year, and actually Ms. Davis did it last year, when she went through the detail about what the accountability system means. Now, our accountability system is changing, so it's not changing for the campus this year, but it's changing for the district this year.
But it also says all board members, so have our new board members.
Now, we would probably need to bring it back and.
Do you feel like you've had training on the
trying to
accountability system?
I can't recall.
You would know.
Guess that's a no.
Because you would know.
So we end up with .5?
Well, we've had training, but it's so complicated.
Well, we did that little video on the A to F report card and
I'm
stuff.
trying to remember, it's,
Yeah.
it's all
And we
going
did that-
together. Right,
We did
and
that
so we
little-
did that.
little thing showing the
I think we
clip,
just have 1.
but,
Isn't it interesting, this scale is only 0 to 5?
And it's basically just intended to make sure
It's
that
like
everybody
one.
understands what the accountability system is, that we have 2 ratings now.
Right.
Either
Well,
best
and we don't do
standards
the
or
next
your
thing,
improvement
so-
required.
And when we, when they
But one-
score, when the
Yes,
scores
we're not
came
at one,
in,
'cause we don't do the next thing.
we did the state of the district, and we went through each one of the scores
So
that
we're
we.
at .5?
and
We're
look
at
at,
.5 on this one.
Okay.
There's a
How do you
lot
feel?
more,
One.
there's a lot
You,
more.
you think we made a full 1?
I just put 1.
Because the administration.
The next one
no,
is the board
no.
tracks the average quarterly
No,
cost of
I don't
staff
think we've
time.
done that.
We
Oh,
did
we-
that.
Governance. Have we?
We did that in Kilgore.
no,
Oh,
that's-
that was last, no,
Yeah, when we went to
did that
Kilgore.
estimate.
Yeah, he made us do that.
but how, I mean, like, you're talking
Just
about.
That
the-
was a year ago, though.
But just to present the cost of what it would cost for a certain
It
report.
was in Houston.
And we had to deal
Right.
with
We did
hourly.
that.
We did that in our workbook.
But it says we're tracking it.
We probably need to bring that back
That
up.
language also comes from new law, in the sense that there's a new provision, if you'll recall, when we went through the new legislative change that addresses a board member's right to request information. The second component to that is that when the board member requests the information, it has to be tracked and reported back to the board, so that's what that's about, so.
Well, and he made a big deal at our initial training last November in Kilgore about how much staff time and
Right.
resources we
Take it.
use in board meetings, talking about,
I think we
What
need to
colors buses?
bring that
I
back.
agree with Foxconn.
I mean,
One,
I'm at kind of a .5. Where are you, Russell?
Kind of in between, 0.75.
Steve, where are you, sir?
I'm at a .5, 'cause I
Yeah.
see that we have, the last one kind of knocked us out,
Uh-huh.
because we don't really try. We've been trained in how
do
to
it,
do
but we
it,
haven't
but we haven't
fully
actually
done it here.
So we've got a
On
1,
us.
a 1, a
When he
.5,
showed us how to do it,
.5.
in Kilgore, no,
I
that
think
was
that
in,
averages out to
that was in
.75.
Dallas. Where was it?
But Kilgore,
It was in Kilgore they trained us on it.
Where we did it again in.
Houston, we did it again, y'all did it
We
again in
just
Houston.
haven't, we
Yeah.
just haven't looked thoroughly at our own staff here, okay.
Structure,
All right.
let's see, board tracks its use of time, yes.
We can't say constraint yet, because we haven't,
Can't say what?
the constraint monitoring, because we haven't finished that
Oh.
yet.
That
And
makes it-
constraint setting,
Okay.
That comes
so
up
we're at
next.
0, huh?
Can't we say the ones we have, we do?
can we do a .5?
apparently so, it's just at a .75.
I would say, cause we got most of it, except what, one, we could do,
Except constraint setting and constraint monitoring?
we could do .75 there.
So I'm just gonna ask, does it allow us to do that, or is it?
I didn't know it did, I thought we were supposed to.
Honestly, I bet if we were to look, and I don't have.
We
any-
have to get the whole thing.
It's
I-
either,
I
you
bet
get
if we
one
look-
for,
Where does it address it?
I don't know, that's
Yeah,
where.
in our
Yeah.
training, that's the
He
way it's
didn't
done.
define it,
He
so.
I
didn't.
recall
He didn't
in
define
the
it.
training we had in Houston, it says if you don't have one of them, you don't have any of them.
You don't have any of it,
That's what I would think.
so really, we can't.
You remember
do
that, Fosh?
All right,
Yeah.
change
You remember
.75
that?
back to .5.
I'm just,
And the three, they're gonna be a 4 or
Okay.
1.
I'm sorry, Kelly.
That probably means you have to change it 13, but I don't see it up there. Here's the
We
distribution.
ended up just doing
To
12.
the 12. But that 3 is gonna either have to be a 4 or 1. I like a 4 better too.
Do you need a tissue?
So this would be a 4.
So y'all don't think we have enough of one to get one
No.
on structure?
No.
Structure.
So we're 0.
Because we haven't finished those constraints, that's what we're gonna work on.
0.5 and then a 0.
Wait, what?
No, the accountability 2 is a .5, that's actually in there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry. That's actually the,
Is 4 correct?
4 is correct,
4 is correct.
then .5,
And then 0?
and
And
then
then
0.
0.
And that brings us to what?
Advocacy.
advocacy. We aren't there yet, that's a,
So we're at a 0 there too.
yeah, that's for later on work.
What's that, advocacy?
Yeah, we haven't,
We haven't
we
gotten.
ain't got that far yet, that's the latter part of it.
And then we're working on the
Well,
Unity, that's the one
yeah.
we've started working
Yeah,
on, so we're at a
yeah.
0 on it,
And that's it,
and that's it. But hey, that's a lot of progress
It
from
is.
last quarter.
it is.
I'm getting more.
And then when we go into our student our operating procedures and then our constraint measures, that's more that we can move on then and start using.
32 and a half,
And we'll start including those every month to talk about.
32.5?
Thank you for offering your.
And see, we would still be talking if I did my teacher mode.
I had a flashback to your presentation in Dallas.
But I didn't stop talking, did I?
It was good though, it was good.
know, since we've done this, this is what was due by the 1st of November. So we can go into November to finish that, those other two items. So it's not, we're not timed for Tuesday,
I
okay?
would just, as we discussed earlier, request that we try
Have all
diligently
I agree.
to request a meeting time that we can.
All me.
Yeah, team of 8 is.
Because that's
needs to be team of
critical.
eight.
You gonna fill it in, do I need to fill it in?
You can, somebody, yeah, I'll fill it in if you don't, but everybody needs to sign it, everybody who's here.
Because that's just critical, I think, with some of the items we're gonna go over.
I got it in there.
So we'll need to put out, you
Mr.
know,
President,
Yes.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
We missed the first pitch, but we,
Did you vote?
Please.
Did y'all vote?
Oh, does that
You need-
require?
move that we accept the, what is this, self-evaluation?
I make the motion, sir, that we approve the submission of the Lone Star Quarterly Governance Board Progress Tracker / Evaluation to TEA.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Pitts, second by Mr. Smith. Any discussion? All in favor? Steve?
Steve.
Put that calendar.
Vote is unanimous. Thank you.
Make a motion.
I'm obsessed with getting something on my calendar.
I make the motion, we adjourn, sir.
I thought you were looking for.
So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Aye.